He was never just a motorcycle racer. He was a phenomenon, a showman, a folk hero in bright yellow who turned a dangerous sport into a global carnival of joy. For more than 2 decades, an entire generation watched the world through the visor of one man and the number 46. But this is not only the story of how Valentino Rossi became the most beloved rider who ever lived. It is also the story of what a legend does when the racing finally stops. Because for Rossi, retirement was not an ending. It was simply the moment he changed machines. The story starts in a small Italian town called Tavullia, where Valentino was born in 1979. Racing was in his blood. His father, Graziano, had been a Grand Prix rider himself, and from the moment little Valentino could walk, he was obsessed with anything that had an engine and wheels. He started on go-karts, then minibikes, tearing around with a grin that never seemed to leave his face. Even as a child, 2 things were already obvious. He was frighteningly fast, and he absolutely loved to entertain. He rocketed through the junior ranks with breathtaking speed. In 1997, still just a teenager, he won the 125cc World Championship. 2 years later, he took the 250c crown. But it was not only the winning that made people fall in love, it was the way he did it. After every victory, Rossi would pull off some wild, hilarious celebration, a costume, a joke, a tribute. While other racers were stone-faced and serious, here was a kid treating the most dangerous sport on earth like the best party in the world. Then came the big league. In 2001, Rossi conquered the fearsome 500cc class, and as the sport transformed into the modern MotoGP era, he simply kept on winning. The championships piled up one after another. He earned a nickname that stuck for life, the Doctor. He dressed his bike and his leathers in his unmistakable fluorescent yellow, stamped everything with the number 46 inherited from his father, and turned each race weekend into a pilgrimage for his adoring fans. Those fans became a force of nature all their own. A vast yellow army that traveled the world, painting entire grandstands the color of the sun. Rossi gave them a sun and moon helmet design, inside jokes, and a personality the sport had never seen. He made fans of people who had never cared about motorcycles in their lives. In Italy, he became a national treasure, as famous as any footballer or film star. Valentino did not just compete in MotoGP. For a while, he practically was MotoGP. But none of it would matter without the racing, and on the track, Rossi was a warrior. His career was defined by ferocious, unforgettable rivalries. He went to war with Max Biaggi, with Sette Gibernau, with a whole generation of challengers, and beat them with a mixture of genius, mind games, and sheer last-lap bravery. His battles produced some of the greatest overtakes the sport has ever witnessed, moments where he seemed to bend the laws of physics to refuse to lose. He did not just want to win, he wanted to break his rival's spirit. The most audacious move of all came when he walked away from the dominant Honda to join a struggling Yamaha team. Everyone said it was career suicide. Instead, Rossi won his very first race on the Yamaha, proving to the world that the magic was in the man, not just the machine. By his peak, he had collected 9 world championships across all classes, 7 of them in the Premier class, a haul that placed him among the greatest motorcycle racers in the entire history of the sport. But time comes for every champion. A new generation arrived, riders raised on the very legend Rossi had created, and now they wanted to beat him. The fight for an elusive 10th title became the great unfinished quest of his career. It boiled over into bitter controversy and heartbreak, and that 10th crown, agonizingly, always slipped just out of reach. Yet Rossi refused to fade quietly away. He kept racing at the very top, deep into his late 30s and beyond, long after most riders his age had retired to the sofa. Finally, in 2021, after 26 seasons of Grand Prix racing, Valentino Rossi announced that the time had come. The farewell tour was extraordinary. At every circuit, fans wept openly in the grandstands, holding up 46 banners saying goodbye to the man who had defined their love of the sport. When he climbed off his bike for the last time as a MotoGP rider, it felt like the end of an entire era. The greatest show in motorcycling had finally taken its final bow. So what does the most famous motorcyclist on Earth do when the racing stops? If you expected him to simply disappear, to relax on a beach and count his trophies, then you do not know Valentino Rossi at all. He did not retire from speed. He just pointed it in new directions. The truth is, the moment he left MotoGP, he became busier, and in some ways more influential than ever before. Long before he retired, Rossi had already begun building his greatest legacy of all. He founded the VR46 Riders Academy, a school for young Italian talent, taking promising kids under his wing and teaching them everything he knew. The results have been staggering. His academy graduates have gone on to win MotoGP World Championships of their own, with riders he personally mentored, now dominating the very sport he once ruled. The student became the master and then created a whole dynasty of new masters. At the heart of it all sits a place that has become legendary in its own right: the ranch. A private dirt track facility Rossi built in the hills above Tavullia, where he and his academy riders train relentlessly, sliding flat-track bikes sideways for fun and for sharpening their racecraft. And he went further still, founding his own VR46 racing team that now competes at the highest level of MotoGP, so that even without riding, Valentino remains right there on the grid every single Sunday, guiding the next generation. Then there is his bold new chapter on four wheels. Rossi swapped 2 wheels for 4 and threw himself into professional car racing, competing in international GT championships against seasoned drivers half his age. He has chased endurance racing glory and the dream of the great 24-hour classics, attacking this new world with exactly the same hunger and competitive fire that made him a legend on bikes. For Rossi, it was never really about the motorcycle. It was about the racing itself. And away from the track, the eternal showman has grown into something softer. Valentino became a father, embracing family life with the same warmth he once gave his fans, a new and quieter kind of joy after a lifetime of chaos and noise. But the number 46 still flies on banners around the world. His academy keeps producing champions, and his racing teams keep fighting. Valentino Rossi proved that a true legend never really stops. He simply finds a new way to race. That is the story of the Doctor. Thanks for watching Throttle Tales. If you loved this one, twist the throttle on that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next ride.